Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video. Yes, you read the title of what I'm reviewing, and of course, continuing on reviewing Halloweenish films, and as I teased in the last review, now I'm reviewing the first sequel in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, The Return of Freddy Krueger, of course, and coincidentally, the title of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 being Freddy's Revenge. Yeah, so, it's, I guess it didn't turn out that good when it came out at first, but it seems as though that, it seems to get some appreciation, hey, because I had watched it for the first time, as I recorded this, and I don't think it was that bad. I actually thought it was decent. Yeah, decent sequel. It could not, of course, top off the first film, but it's still it was its own it was its own thing, and for it being a sequel. So yeah, another thing is I would like to quickly point this out. I thought that in the first sequel I was confused, and I was mistaken actually. I thought Nancy, the one of the main characters, I thought Nancy was in the sequel, but nope, I thought she was in the first sequel, but no, she's in the second sequel, part 3. So, yeah, so no Nancy in, in part 2. But of course we get, fresh new characters. And the fact that, somebody has moved into Elm Street. Okay, so the story. A teenage boy is haunted by his dreams by deceased child murderer Freddy Krueger, who is out to possess him in order to continue his region of terror, in the real world. So yeah, and directed by Jack Shoulder, and the new cast of characters, of course we have the return of the legendary, actor Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, of course. But new characters that step in, of course. Jesse Walsh, played by Mark Patton. And, so him and his family, Mrs. Walsh and Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh being played by Gulager, if I'm saying that right. And Mrs. Walsh, played by Hope Lang. And then there was, Jesse's sister, although I don't see her, but, And then, of course, there was also Jesse's girlfriend, Lisa Weber, played by Kim Myers. And, oh gosh, and who was... Really? She's not listed? Oh, no, here she is. Angela Walsh, played by Christy Clark. That name sounds familiar, doesn't it? But yeah, so I think as far as I can tell, they kind of moved in and, they kind of, live right next door to, the house where, of course, the story has been said that, has been spread around the neighborhood that, what happened in the first film, that Nancy was locked up in that house by her mother. Yeah, so a little mentioning of events that happened in the first film, and the fact that Jesse is being haunted by Freddy Krueger. Not to mention, it turns out, though, that at some point, Freddy is, has a fascination and, interest for Jesse, and basically, Jesse has Freddy, do, his deeds or something, becomes like a Freddy Krueger as well. It's Freddy, and as Jesse establishes it very later on to Lisa, that it's Freddy now owns Jesse, pretty much. He's making Jesse do all the killing and so on. Say, this one coach named Coach Schneider, played by Marshall Bell, he's, pardon my French, it's true, he's an a-hole in this. Even, say, when, at some point, Jesse, after being, scared by Freddy, he goes to this bar or whatever, and he happens to run into the coach, and the coach literally takes him back to the school gym and makes him, walk around the gym and has him go wash himself up. But that's when, at one point, Freddy comes in, and, well, he kills the coach, but, he has, like, say, Jesse do it. And even, like, say, Lisa starts to, like, wonder what's going on and what's wrong with Jesse. And, of course, Lisa, of course, now knows that, well, it's Freddy. And also there was Ron Grady, played by Robert Russler, yeah, who kind of, like, at one point, like, at the beginning of the film, like, Ron and Jesse, they don't get along, but I guess they seem to get along just a little bit better in the film. Not to mention, like, Jesse having Ron help him because of, what's happening and what's wrong with Jesse. And, at the climax in the third act, Ron does get killed by Freddy. And also, like, the opening to the film is, we start off, like, say, with a school bus, and kids being picked up, by the school bus. And I happened to notice Robert Englund as the bus driver. And I was like, hey, there's Robert. And I was kind of wondering, is this Freddy Krueger disguised as the bus driver? Because if Robert Englund's, like, appearing not as Freddy, that probably it's Freddy, you know what I mean? And wouldn't you know it, I was right. And the fact that it was a dream, like, the bus driver continues driving when, like, even, say, passes by one of the teenage girls, like, places to stop, like, where to get off, and, like, basically going through this, like, like, desert or whatever, like, the bus is kind of wobbling, and when, like, say, kind of, like, breaks off, the ground, yeah, and as I said, like, at the end of the climax, Ron being killed, and basically, like, there's a party going on, I think at, I don't know whose house it is, I want to say Lisa's house, out in the backyard of the pool, and basically, pardon my French, it is true, like, all hell breaks loose, like, Freddy possessing, Jesse, and Jesse's kind of inside Freddy, and I think in the first sequel, Freddy just only has the claws. There's no glove or anything, as far as I can tell. I mean, the glove is there, but, I did notice, but, it's like going back and forth, with the glove and not with the glove, and the claws just being on his fingers, Did they mess that up? I don't know. Was that intentional? Who knows? And basically, like, everybody has seen Freddy, because, well, yeah, when Freddy wants everybody else to see him actually, be there, you know what I'm saying? And I really like that, because, when he kind of attacks Lisa, well, and I think, Lisa attacked back or something like that. Well, Freddy then starts, like, going on a rampage, like, he starts scaring and kind of, like, chasing all the party guests out in the backyard, and even Lisa's parents are seeing Freddy too. Lisa's dad, like, pulling out a gun to kill Freddy, but of course Lisa has her, stops her dad from not only shooting Freddy, but Jesse as well. And Freddy Krueger escapes, and Jesse, I'm sorry, not Jesse, Lisa goes after Freddy Krueger, drives to, like, this power plant place, I want to say. Although, yeah, they were at this, like, abandoned power plant at one point early in the film, Lisa and Jesse. And, well, that's where, at that point, even get the names mixed up. Lisa is telling Jesse to fight Freddy, that he can defeat Freddy from, like, taking over him, possessing him, etc. And, of course, Freddy Krueger does get defeated, of course, getting burned alive, to crisp. And when Freddy's defeated, Jesse is back. He's perfectly fine now. And Jesse and Lisa, they're reunited, of course. Good for them. And, of course, like with any Nightmare on Elm Street film, like with the sequels and with the first one, Freddy not being defeated, and, of course, terrorizing the kids once again in their nightmares, I'll attack you in your dreams, however Freddy says it. And, of course, a bit of nudity, just a little bit, I'd say. Not really like in this, and like like a little bit of like a makeout scene between Lisa and Jesse, and of course foul language, especially from Freddy Krueger, as we all know. Yeah, so Nightmare on Elm Street, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. I don't think it was that bad, a not bad sequel, and I guess from what I can tell, I'm sure, yeah, there are those that probably don't really like the sequel, but there are those that do like it, as I've been saying. Like, I think this is not bad. And what about you guys? Have you seen Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, and what'd you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review a like as always. And how do I rate this? That's a good question. I'll give it, why not, 7 out of 10, because I thought it was pretty good, as I've been saying. And yeah, so again, 7 out of 10 stars for A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. More reviews coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And of course, continuing on reviewing more Halloweenish films, and stay tuned later this week because gonna be reviewing another vampire film, and this time it's directed by the same director who directed The Godfather. You probably know, you might know what I'm talking about, so stay tuned for that. Take care, and peace out.